Okay, Blake, welcome aboard. Thanks for being here for another episode. We got a great crowd in today. Interesting show. It's called Give Peace a Chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Folks, regular viewers, you may or may not notice I've got my new eyewear going. I look like that guy in the 70s from Brownsville Station. If you remember Brownsville,
Yeah.
smoke it in the boys'
Boys'
room.
room, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, we was smoking in the boys' room. Teacher, don't you kind of bother your rules. Everybody knows the smoking ain't allowed in school.
Didn't Radar O'Reilly have the round ones too?
Yeah, but not like this. He had the John Lennon kind of wired.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
These is like what do they call this? Tortoise shell glasses.
Cool.
Anyway, we got a lot to get into here. Hi everyone. Can we go live when the plane disembarks? Oh wow, it looks like Putin's plane just got there. They might do it at the same time. That would be something. We're going to talk about the meeting in Alaska, a prelude to peace. We hope. While all that's going on, Sue, can you open up a window on your thing and just on YouTube somewhere, but not one of ours? Get ABC. They won't block us. If you go to the Red Eagle News or whatever those guys are, they can block us sometimes because they're a small outfit and they want to get all the views they can. Rach, you're reminding me of the movie Papillon.
So I just go live, Trump, Putin.
Yeah, just go live, Trump, Putin. That'll bring it all in. I love Wolfie. I love that he's such a sweet kid. I love this guy. New York.
Let's go to Reuters.
Yeah, Reuters probably allow us to have it.
I'm just going to share that screen.
Let's go to Reuters. Look. Okay, here we've got Reuters here. There we got is this live? Let it roll. Let's see what's going on. Or we'll keep it small. If there's nothing happening. Once we see the president go, then we'll go live. And the red carpet's out. One of the stories that just came across, and we can link to it later. Apparently, Putin is bringing a
swing by our online store and check out the awesome products that we
a massive. Just mute it for now, there, love. Oh my God, Sue's working doing the heavy lifting for us in the background there, and let
will
it
be live on X too, or
I don't know, man. Don't do that. Just it's your sound volume. Yeah, just get it right to Zippo. There you go. Okay. And there's some guy. I don't know who he is. Let's ignore him. He's having some oregano or something. They can put a man on the moon, or can they? That's what my mom would argue that. But anyway, okay, there's the big plane, Air Force One. It's been a good half hour with no movement since Air Force One got there. Yeah, Trump's on board having fun. Anyway, like the big story here is Putin and the boys. Apparently, there's something like possibly hundreds of Russian businessmen that are part of the Russian delegation. Hundreds of them, indicating that maybe they want to take part in Trump's financial rebirthing of America, and that they want to do business with this president. That would be significant. I think that would be significant.
I think that, it is significant, and it's not new. The last time, not even 15 years ago, Russia was part of the G10. What they called it, and invited as part of the whole team. So how did this go sideways? Like, this was pressured on and I know all the Russia hoax bots are going to be screaming Putin started the war. Quite frankly, no, Putin was reacting to Europe and NATO's actions to convert Ukraine into a NATO country. There was a promise never to go there. Are we ready to go live?
I don't know. Gangway is moving up to a Russian plane. Who are you watching, Wolfie Fox? Who's your brother? There goes my mommy. Wolfie, tell me who you're watching. We'll get Sue doing the same feed you're getting. We'll all line up our ducks.
Maybe I need to play it.
Well, it's got to be played. But
you can probably roll it forward a bit.
Refresh. Just refresh. Hit the refresh there.
Is that
There you-
live or?
Okay,
Oh, there you go.
There you go. There's Russia. And just kill the sound on it, Sue. Yeah, we're ready to go. We don't need the sound. We'll just keep the imagery in the background. Not going to be a lot to deal with anyway. It's just delegation, people arriving, blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's a door opening on the Russian place of Pokhara. It says Polka. I believe that spells Polka. I think it says Russia, but
It's gonna have a polka.
it's a Cyrillic language there. Holy smokes. All right. Captain Stubing coming off there just to greet everybody. Anyway, good morning or afternoon, evening, wherever the heck you are. It's 12 noon on the west coast of Canada where Blake and myself are situated. Blake and Victoria, I'm in Nanaimo, but of course, we both love the U.S. We're both keenly interested in what's going on with this current administration. Donald John Trump, I just love this guy. I think he's doing a good thing. I think he's a guy at peace. My mother and I got into it. You know, I love my birth mother. I have two moms. You know, not everybody does. My birth mother was in. She's going, that Trump just wants to get a Nobel Peace Prize. And I'm going, you know, those awards aren't worth anything anymore. Ever since they gave Barack Obama one, and then the Order of Canada, they gave Teresa Tang or whatever her name is.
Tam.
Yeah. Who is this idiot to me? You know, and all this stuff. So they're just kind of, there's a club, they reward themselves, all that sort of thing. Hey, what are the odds if we get a shot of Melania slapping Trump in there? I don't think they're high. I don't think they're very high. You know, it's not like a couple of guys tag wrestling there or anything on board the plane. But anyway, very interesting as we await that. There's my dear mom going by. You're doing great there, Mom. Anyway, what's really interesting today is what happened, Blake, is we got word that the Ukraine, in order to celebrate world peace and the coming together of these two world leaders, Trump and Putin, launched a massive drone strike on Russia. And there was a graphic of it. It was very dramatic just to see all these missiles flying over there. Obviously, in order to destabilize, to try and provoke. Trump's too good at this game. He's not going to bite at it. Putin's no fool. He won't bite at it either. It just ends up becoming a big distraction. But fortunately, I believe cooler heads will prevail. This looks serious. What are your odds on percentage? If you were to be Polymarket, Blake, what would you Polymarket this as odds that we're going to get peace in the Ukraine? Let me know.
Odds? It all depends what they do to Zelensky. He doesn't appear to be wanting anything to do with this right now. So it's going to have to be whatever the arrangement's going to be imposed on Zelensky and his crew, because he's saying he's not willing to give up anything. And of course he's emboldened because he's got the EU behind him, and he's got, you know, Canada, the United Kingdom, but really the United States is the superpower of the world. China is backing Russia. So sorry, EU, you're not going to have the backing of Russia.
They don't have the military clout, do they?
Well, the EU is the only one that potentially could continue to stir the pot. And I think that's the problem. They keep trying to drag the US into it, but the US holds the financial levers too. So they could cut off Zelensky overnight. I was hearing a guy this morning on a podcast who's highly connected to NATO and getting all the intel. But apparently Zelensky's been dumping about $50 million a month into a UAE bank account. So all the billions and billions that we're all sending, Zelensky's padding his pockets, and I'm sure a bunch of his corrupt crony buddies are dumping it into these offshore bank accounts so that they have their escape route. And I think that's essentially what's going to be.
I think it's been said by, you know, greater minds than my own that the Ukraine is a black ops area for dark money, dark finances. That money goes in, and Zelensky himself claimed, I forget what the figure was, but it was some obscene number of millions of dollars that have gone missing that he can't account for. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go live. The president is descending from the long ramp down. Sorry, Gavin Newsom, you son of a bitch, you lying piece of turd. Here comes my beloved president, Donald John Trump. Fantastic. Do you want to give us some sound? Let's go big on this.
Yeah.
Let's just get a little sound on it. We'll see what we got. All right. And here comes his opposite number, Vladimir Putin. This could be a prelude to world peace in a way we've never seen before. So, Lord willing, we pray to God in Jesus' name that peace and not war will be the future for our planet, if only in the short term. So
Read the body language.
Yeah. Trump
I mean,
is just Trump, right? Look at that guy, man. He never changes. I just love the consistency of this guy.
He knows this is so serious.
He knows what's going on, though.
Well, but you'll notice he's walking straight into it, and Putin's body language is he's prepping his tie while he's walking.
Yeah.
He's fidgeting a little bit. He's kind of earlier he was kind of checking himself. So you know who he's going up against, right?
He's going up against
the most powerful person in the world, right?
That's you're
it.
right. Beautifully said. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm a little excited, Blake. I'm cutting you off. That was really good. Yeah, Trump is the guy, man. Trump's the man. Wow. This is like the moon landing. It's all exciting. One small step for Putin, one giant leap for Zelensky. Oh, man.
I mean, seriously, Zelensky must be the biggest clown in history. I mean, he walks around with his military fatigues. He's traveling the world like a poser. I mean, the guy is. I mean, all these people try and build him up as some kind of hero.
Look, he's smiling, thumbs up, double thumbs up.
Oh, I thought they were going to fist bump there for a second.
Oh, it almost looked that way. Almost looked that way. God bless both these guys, man. Peace in our time. We want world peace if we can get it. You know, it'd be great to see the killing end in the Ukraine. It's absolutely devastating.
Now, Trump doesn't speak Russian.
No.
And he's talking to him.
Yeah.
Putin doesn't. I didn't
Yeah,
understand.
he speaks a little
Can he
English.
speak English?
I think he can do some, yeah.
Okay, I've never heard him speak English. He always has an interpreter.
Well, I think that's how he prefers to operate. Like everybody prefers in their first language.
Yeah.
And it's also a kind of a power move. I'm not going to condone your language, or I'm not going to condescend to speak your language.
He's probably going, here comes Zelensky. It's Zelensky.
Yeah. Coming to get us both. Wow.
Photos.
Yeah.
President Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire?
Not the time.
Not the time. Shut up,
It's a
CBC.
photo shoot. Yeah, CBC.
Inappropriate reporters.
Will you stop killing civilians?
Will you stop killing civilians? What
Look,
you
he's
say?
going, I don't have. He's pointing to his ear. He doesn't have
Yeah.
his interpretive
Yeah.
mic in.
Don't worry. Ignore them. They're a bunch of idiots. Yeah. I think that's, what's his name? Herc. Watch your steps, Jen. There we go. Wow, look at that. It's exciting. This is very cool. This is it is historic. No ways, two ways about it.
We're still holding for a minute.
Good work from Blake on body language reading. YouTube lawyer channels could recruit Blake. We do a lot of that in court case coverage, Blake. Great work on the body language. And there the boys are. Is this the Beast? Is this the one they call the Beast, the car? It looks like a bit of a beast. Holy
Probably
smokes.
Trump's main. Well, I
Can
don't know
you
if they have his
imagine?
main vehicle.
Yeah. Wolfie
He
and Brad.
should have shown up in a large Dodge Ram, right? The top tier. That would be pretty Americana.
Yeah. What's that song? You know, they do the cowboy song for the Dodge Ram or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like a truck or whatever. It's all cowboy type.
Yeah.
Yeah, same limo. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway, what a precious cargo, huh?
Oh,
To
there
have
you have
those
the
guys
chat.
in there.
You can see heads movements and talking
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Keep them safe, Lord. Keep those men safe.
Well, let's remember the last
from the
time.
nuts.
I mean, they've been saying we've been on
Okay,
literally
you can take the
30
sound down on
seconds
the
to
background
midnight.
on your film.
We've been at
just
nearly
about
30
50.
seconds to midnight for nuclear war over this,
Yes.
and I think what this is right up there with Reagan meeting Gorbachev and
Yeah,
ending the Soviet Union, right?
or
Mr.
Nixon
Gorbachev, tear down this wall, came down. Yeah.
or Nixon going to China for first time 1972. That was a big story for its time. Kind of reestablishing American-Chinese relationship. There they go. Look at it. Putin's having a good time.
And maybe they got some tunes bumping in there.
They probably got Beatles going. They probably got the Beatles going.
Give peace a chance, right? Playing, got Lennon going on in the background.
Did you notice the narrow red carpet they gave Putin? I wouldn't read too much into that. You can. I mean, symbolism is all over the place. I think you can read a lot into it. But this really is significant. And again, Zelensky this morning launching a massive drone attack. He knew what he was doing. The Ukrainian government knows what they're doing. It's certainly not going to stop what Trump or Putin. They have all the cards. Zelensky really doesn't have anything. He has no bargaining chips. They got nothing. And for those that know, I guess they're going to building known as Quarter One Q1, located on 17th Street. So that's where they're going to be meeting. A lot of fun. And the entourage coming through.
Well, I wonder who's going to have to pay for. I'm sure the Russians are going to be asking for compensation for the loss of Nord Stream 2. That pretty much points to Biden.
Yeah. And Trump will probably very, very likely will concede that point to him and go, sure, I can see that. We had some bad people for us before. Sue, can you grab the first link? It's called Ukraine. A picture tells 1,000 stories. It's right at the top here. And I'll remove your other link. And then just keep it rolling in the background. Yep. And if anything comes, so we can go back to it if needed. But this one's called the Ukraine. And it just kind of, a picture says 1,000 words. This is a map showing the strikes that occurred today. And I've made as large as I can. Ukraine, is it just me or does Zelensky seem to sabotage Trump's efforts to secure peace every time? Trump's meeting with Putin tomorrow. I guess it's time for us to launch the largest drone attack against Russia in history. And there's a graphic showing Russian territory, and all those little red marks that you're seeing going in are the drone attacks flying into Russian territory. So, the usual nonsense from the usual suspects. But I thought the graphic was quite telling. Do you think Zelensky is going to be effective with that tactic, Blake?
No. Because I think it's a last stand of the desperate globalist elite who've been egging this war on and actually encouraged it. If you believe the papers from years ago, but essentially the goal is to break Russia up into roughly 3 to 5 different territories in different countries. This is a goal from the EU elite. This is where this is coming from. Not China. It's not coming. Well, it was coming under the Biden administration and the corrupt deep state there. I do believe that if Trump can pull off this deal and it becomes a peace deal, Zelensky gets dragged into it. Well, Zelensky's going to disappear. He's going to be told you're getting out of Dodge. You're finished. Go take your money. Go live in the UAE for the rest of your life. And because he's stolen enough money anyways that he won't have to worry about cash. But I think we could watch the stock market. That's the thing to watch. Watch the confidence of the market, right? Because if they come out after today or tomorrow and they say we're announcing a peace deal, it's done. Zelensky starts yapping. Zelensky will be alone. because America will then say, well, no, you're not playing ball and we're not backing your play anymore. You're done. So we're pulling right back, and we'll back Russia if we have to.
I love what you're saying. Nobody's even introduced that thought. You're the first person in any media this is something I've thought for some time. I think when the time is right, Trump will come out and say, we are no longer supporting you. We have seen Russia making every effort for peace. I'm seeing peace coming from their end. I'm seeing nothing from you. And in fact, I see an escalation on your part. Therefore, this administration is choosing to support Russia in this. At the same time, backroom channels talking to England, talking to France, the EU, all the players, telling those idiots no empowering, no encouraging of Zelensky to stupidity. It's over. It's over. We're done. And here's the agreement. We're going to take Donbass. You're not getting the other stuff, but the territories they've taken, they're theirs. They fought a war. They won that territory in blood. And if it keeps going, you're going to lose this war, because we will never back Europe, any European effort to go and take Russia down. And I've assured Vladimir Putin that we're going to stay out of it, and he has free reign to do whatever the hell he wants with the Ukraine.
Well, and we're hoping that there will be a stabilization period for a long time, if not permanently, in the U.S., where the deep staters are finally going to have a spotlight on there, and that there's a proper checks and balances process in the U.S. to prevent globalists from coming in and putting in puppet governments into the U.S. as well. Done with that crap. Done with the neocon war machine that's nonstop. I think people are fed up with it.
The endless wars.
And that's what it is. It's just, and they use them as distractions. They use them really as a part of the massive worldwide kleptocracy, how they can control everything and yet steal it all. It's like a giant crime family, and these people need to be stopped. And they use countries as tools. Like they talk about Soros. Soros made his gazillions off of betting against countries' currencies. He would literally push currencies to collapse so he could profit from it in different countries, almost taking England down with them. So these are the kind of people who are behind all this stuff. Soros's hands were all over Ukraine in 2014. His hands were all over that. So I think the fact between him and his buddies in the Obama administration, his buddies like Brennan and the CIA, those guys all work together. Absolutely. This is all going to come out as more and more of this investigations are bringing up information daily that these guys are part of this worldwide group that wanted to usher in this new worldwide digital central bank digital currencies, new worldwide climate carbon pricing plans and carbon taxation. You'll own nothing and be happy group. And you're right. I think you and I were talking about a little bit off stage. These guys are now on the run. They are on the run. You're seeing the last gasps of those globalists that are trying to stay relevant and in control. As I said, if you're throwing, drones, I mean, when you look at some of those drones, they're probably buying them off Amazon now. I mean, that's literally all they're getting, what they're getting. I mean, it's just they're throwing everything and anything they can at the moment. It's a last gasp. What happened? What was the island in Alaska? Why did we talk about Alaska? World War II. The last charge of the Japanese on one of the Aleutian Islands there. I'm trying to remember the island, but literally they were running out of bullets. They had nothing left. They basically did like 1,000-man charge down the hill against the American positions, and they were just cut to shreds. Right? I mean, they had nothing left, but that's kind of what I think what we're seeing here on a worldwide basis.
You know what? The image always comes to me when you're just that inspired me. What you're talking about there is the old World at War series. Remember, Lord Laurence Olivier. And
love those shows.
The end of World War II, one of the final episodes they do is on Japan and about the dropping the nuclear bombs. And they go like this. Meanwhile, and Laurence Olivier did an outstanding job of narration on that. If you've never seen The World at War, ladies and gentlemen, I highly encourage you to watch. It's absolutely a masterpiece of covering the war and the pathos in it and the drama and the horror. It's all there. It's a fantastic series. But this scene on Okinawa, they've got Japanese women holding bamboo spears, and they go like, and it shows them charging and learning how to wield their spears in an attack formation. And over that image, it's got Lord Laurence Olivier saying, and the end, when it would come, would be bright, luminous, mushroom shaped. And then it freezes as it used to freeze a shot. It shows a little Japanese girl lean forward with her thing. And in the background of that, she fades out and goes all pixelated. And behind her is the luminous mushroom cloud of Nagasaki, Hiroshima. Absolutely horrifying. And just the sheer massive power that one juxtaposed with the other, the incongruence of it all. Absolutely, just chilling, absolutely chilling. So I agree. I think we're last gasp times here, but it's going to continue and straggle on for a while. What have you got lined up for us, Sue?
Oh, never mind. I was just going to show you where they're going to be speaking.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to
correct right now.
Yeah, go ahead, Blake.
I was going to say the island where that last charge, the Japanese when they did a bayonet charge. It was the island of Attu.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was operations there to get the Japanese out of there.
Is that part of the Amchitka chain?
The Aleutian Islands, yes. At the very end, one of the last islands at the end of the Aleutian chain.
At the Aleutian Island chain. Okay. This is something, I love my World War II history, mostly the air war, but I like the naval battles that occurred, both two ocean war. Admiral Morrison wrote an incredible book called The Two Ocean War. Highly recommended.
James, they hit Canada too in British Columbia. We got hit with some of those fire balloons, and we also had a Japanese sub fire some shells ashore off the coast of Vancouver Island here.
Yes, they did. And the funny thing about that is, I just a slight diversion. Later, I do have a Patreon. I'm doing a Patreon show later today. It is going to be kind of a non-public broadcast. I'll be talking about this film, but this character here, Eddie Deason, is also in the movie 1941. I had a chance to talk to him. He came, our good friend Mazzy was in Chicago for Beatles Fest, and Eddie Deason was there. He's walking around, and so I got a chance to talk to him about being on a Ferris wheel in the Spielberg Zemeckis production of 1941, where a Japanese sub is firing on the California coastline. So all this kind of anecdotal stuff from World War II. Anyway, folks, you can join my Patreon, a little commercial here. If you want, $5 a month. I do a show a week, and it's just, intimate, and few people, about 20, 21 people show up. But there you go. I want to hold your hand. We'll talk about that on that show later today. It's not a political show, more just music and, a get together, an intimate gathering. Okay, I've got another link to share. Okay, U.S. cartels. Can you do that one, Sue? Because it's always this double-edged sword with we talking about peace. And then liberals will say, this is war, this is violence, or this is that and the other thing. And if you're able to grab us about 4 down, we got movement in the Caribbean from the United States. Breaking President Trump. Well, I'll let Sue read it. We'll get a different voice in here.
Breaking. President Trump is deploying over 4,000 U.S. Marines and sailors to the waters around Latin America to go after the cartels, per CNN. No more playing games. The cartels will soon meet the might of the U.S. armed forces.
All right. So here we are talking about peace. And now, naysayers, he's just doing war down there. But my argument to that, Blake, is that's a police operation. He's going down to get the bad guys. We're not talking war there. We're talking about control in the hemisphere. And if anything, this is the old U.S. doctrine of manifest destiny. There's a new sheriff in town. The name is Donald John Trump. And he's going in and he's cleaning up Dodge. It looks like that on every metric. It looks like Trump is cleaning up the world. It's absolutely astounding what we're witnessing. We may never see his like again. And the world will be sorrier for it. The world will be poorer for it. Go ahead, Blake. What do you think?
Well, I think nowadays, I mean, there's different technologies available to them that they didn't have in, say, in the 1980s. Because Reagan did the same thing. Reagan, was going after the cartels, like the Escobar cartel. So was Bush Senior. They were hitting them in Colombia. They were hitting them in all along the Panama. We know what happened, the invasion of Panama. That was
we had the whole incident with Grenada, where America gave
Grenada,
victory over Grenada. We won. We came in and we finished that.
So I think now with the better technologies, they can zero in better. But one question that still remains, because a lot of people point to the fact that the CIA was involved with the drug smuggling. So so will he able stop that side of it? These sort of dark, deep state guys, dark actors that have been using corporations to funnel money that aren't tied to the U.S. to use for operations. And I mean, this is kind of known information for many, many years that the CIA was using companies, and some of them allied to money laundering and drug smuggling. And so, I mean, all through the drug wars of the 1980s, there was cocaine pouring into the U.S., right? It didn't stop the flow because cocaine was everywhere. So I think the question needs to look at, because I think fentanyl is probably the bigger target now, because that's the direction the cartels have gone. It's cheaper to produce. And in a lot of ways, you've got countries like Canada, when we had our former Prime Minister Trudeau and our local premier, who basically made it, decriminalized it to the point that they could sell it. And they're selling cocaine. You can buy cocaine now off the shelf of a store in Canada. Like it's crazy. So I'm kind of, when Trump said he's going after, like, there's a no hold barred, these guys are now put on notice that he's going to target these cartel leaders. He didn't say just on American soil. And I think Canada better take note as well, because if you're a politician or anybody involved with these cartels, you're on that list. I'm sorry. And I think they should be on that list, because you're killing tens of thousands of people a month if you combine it together with your fentanyl crap. And I think that I know fentanyl is number one on his list. He said it numerous times.
All right, we got breaking news. Sue has got live footage. We returned to the president with Putin. I guess they're taking questions. We'll see what's what. Yeah, refresh it maybe. Do a refresh on this. Okay. Get any noise, any action?
No.
Okay. Well, technical difficulties, so just have to let it go. Sorry, folks. We do what we can do. We're live. That's all we can do. Okay, the one I want you to bring up, though, is the one on paid protests, because, Blake, here's the thing. We know that Trump crippled U.S. aid, okay? And we saw certain changes happen in the environment. So we saw the Stephen Colbert go down. We saw PBS defunded, and we saw the PBR, whatever it is, the other one go. So we're seeing takeovers. I forget the other one. Normally I have that thing just like that memorized.
I've got them going now.
Okay, let's return. We see we may have this squared away. Here we go. And full volume.
I've got full volume.
Okay. And we're not getting any
volume.
sound. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
All right. Let's leave the boys. We'll get that tomorrow, another day. Tomorrow's another day, or, whenever we reconvene, which is on Tuesday for us. But anyway, so we saw the USA take a hit. Now Trump is turning his attention on Act Blue. And when Act Blue, PBR, I think they call it PBR. Isn't that the one, kids? Let me know if I'm right, American audience. These are the public funded leftist news organizations that spew propaganda. Trump crippled them, and they are going the way of the dinosaur. But here's something else that's happening. Trump Knows is the head of this one, Gunther Eagleman. I love this account. Sue, do you want to read this one for us, please?
Sure. Trump knows. It's just been found that the Democrats are buying protesters. Oh, that's a shock. In order to fight my attack on crime. These are criminals who support crime. They are unelectable. Let me just go down here. It's just been found that Democrats are buying protesters in order to fight my attack on crime. Okay, they are unelectable. Holy crap, a paid protester requests have surged by 400% since Trump was inaugurated as president. Reports show that dark money groups like those that the Soros family funds have dumped over 20 million into the different protest groups in DC. Not cool.
All right. So great story there. And I love our audience. Thank you so much, kids. Great humor here. Rach, it's not PBR. That's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's a hell of a beer. No, NPR is what you're thinking of. Yeah, the NPR. Thank you. Holy smokes. You know, sometimes my age really shows up here. But the point is that I love that post because the guy goes, Trump knows. And the way Trump said it, unelectable. People think that Trump just he doesn't plan anything, that he's just off the cuff, and that, you know, he's a dumb guy. He's not intelligent. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm here to tell you the exact opposite. The Trump, when he says they're unelectable, he means that they're unelectable. Actions have consequences. He's going to go after Act Blue. Their funding's going to dry up. Okay, and then Blake's dropped a very friendly little link for our collective edification. Blake, do you want to explain this one?
Oh, just to answer, I think Wolfie asked about is cocaine being sold
over the counter. Over the counter.
And in essence, not like you can walk into a 7-Eleven and go buy it. No, they're legal dispensaries with a doctor's note, which those doctor's notes are I mean, you buy pretty much anything. Yeah. But yeah, there's Canadian companies have been, two of them were licensed to sell cocaine in Canada.
Down and Out Nashville is saying this is a friend of ours, a musician, good guy. If you're in the Nashville area, certainly check out Down and Out Nashville. Has a YouTube channel, the whole bit. And, you know, we love to support independent artists. Now, have you got a new link up there, Sue, or is that just a hangover from the one I put up?
That's the one that Blake said was.
Oh, okay. Here's Blake saying about the.
This is a little. No, this is the cocaine one. This is just
a
little. This is just a little fun. As the pleb writes right up the top, the current state of Canada summarized in 19 seconds.
All right, let's see how Canada's doing. Okay.
The University of Toronto and our partners here at Electra. It's my pleasure.
Oh dear.
They are very light, actually.
Oh God. All right. Well, there you go, Canada.
At least she caught the first time. They caught the Canadian flag from hitting the ground, and then she just let it go.
It was just absolutely freaking nuts. Yeah, absolutely.
Do we need some Larry David music?
Yeah, good. Okay, so I mean, there's so many stories going on here. Okay, this is a big story right now. Let's do news access in Canada. You know, America does have its eyes on Canada. Even Cat Turd, the pundit, the right-wing news pundit, is commenting a lot on Canada lately. Yeah. And I, for one, as a Canadian, appreciate the focus, even if it's unflattering towards Canada. But the more we're in the consciousness of the president and of the American people, the quicker we're going to see some real change up here. This is really interesting. Now, this one here, I need you to follow through. Yeah, this is the actual article. Yep. This is worth reading a little bit. U.S. State Department targets Canada's Online News Act in a human rights report. Let's scroll down and read a little bit of it. It's worth looking at. Sue, do you want to read just 1, 2, 3, down to where it says Canadian press sort of thing? Or just what you got there? Just read that little bit.
The State Department is taking aim at Canada's Online News Act and a human rights report that criticizes press freedom in Canada, which experts characterized Thursday as Orwellian. The Online News Act, which requires Meta and Google to compensate news publishers for the use of their content, is cited in a section of the report covering freedom of the press. The U.S. is determined, okay, this is a quote, is determined to crush two important pieces of Canadian legislation. We'd be all in for that.
Yeah.
The Online News Act and the Online Streaming Act. Their end game, and they've got an Online Harms Act they want to get going pretty quick here too. Their end game is clear, said Carleton University International Affairs Professor Van Hampson. I won't continue to read it.
It's because it's worth. I'll take over from here.
You go.
While Meta
ahead.
pulled news from its platforms in response to the 23 law, news outlets are now receiving. I lost my place because it's
payments from $100 million
Google Fund. Okay, so there's a Google Fund set up that Google's using to pay out to Canada. Prime Minister Mark Carney indicated last week he's open to repealing this legislation. Fantastic. A government spokesperson said implementation of the Online News Act is still ongoing in response to a query from the Canadian press. So the digital services tax was killed already. The Americans are applying real pressure here. And let me read this again that Sue read. The most important line here. The U.S. is determined to crush two important pieces of Canadian legislation. So Canada's flexing. America sees this as a direct threat to democracy, to freedom of speech, and to its influence peddling, if you will, and wants to see Canada stopped by any non-military means necessary. Blake?
Well, and they've also shot the across the bow of the UK as well, with going around and arresting people for their free speech. So I think they're going to, as I said, they don't want this on their border. But there's some of the most ridiculous aspects of this. We know what the money is being used. It's basically to siphon money off the big tech platforms to give it over as part of their funding of their propaganda arm of all the legacy media that nobody watches. Now, what the funny part is about this, or I should say retarded part of this is that Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram and a number of platforms they own, said, fine, we just won't allow any Canadian news sources to be posted on our platform. So anytime you go and want to see a link or post a link to a group or to your page or, share it with somebody, it says this content's not available in your area. The point is, these media companies just lost millions of people sharing their media links around the world, which gives them people to see their news stories. So now you can't see them. They block them. But it's not just that. They're blocking us on some of these platforms, unless they're paying like Google has, from seeing even US and other sources of media links. Because I try and do this because I'm based in Canada, but I have a Facebook page and a group in Nevada, about Nevada ghost towns and historic sites. We got one that got almost 60,000 people in it. I've got about 60,000 people following my Facebook group.
That's huge.
And we've got one in Canada called Gold Trails and Ghost Towns. It has about 130,000 people on
wow,
that group.
boy, good for you, man.
And so, but we post history stories and articles we find in the media. They get blocked. We can't put them up. So these stories are not getting the exposure they need. But outside of that's just the business case. You'd think these legacy media people would be going, oh, we need that exposure. Yeah, leave it alone. But no, because this is part of the plan where they use it to tax these platforms to fund their what should be illegal, where the government is paying for support from these legacy media outlets, basically giving them a monopoly in Canada. But that's it. It can't be shared. You can't share the links. You can't give it around. And so, but it's funding these legacy media companies that can't stand on their own 2 feet, and they don't want the competition, right? So that's the other side, because we got to look at the other side of the equation that I'm sure Trump is aware of, is they're trying to block through legislation, through protection. Of course, it's always authoritarians always come out through security and protection of the people. And in this case, they want to block a lot of free speech avenues, saying that the Online Harms Act. So this is kind of going hand in hand. And I think Trump's administration is saying, yeah, you're not going to be doing that on our border, which is good, because I think it's time. We know where the globalists are entrenched. They're entrenched in Canada. Canada is one of the last vestiges, including parts of Europe, but even Europe is falling apart. The EU is
Australia's
not
bad
united.
too. New Zealand's bad. Yeah, they've been really hit.
But they've still. But the thing is, I look at, like, in Australia, they still have some independent news sources, like Sky News, are hammering the left wing control and the authoritarian power that the left has in Australia, and they're still there. We don't have that in Canada. We don't have a news network on TV that competes with the legacy news networks that got all the elbows up people to show up in an election and blame Trump that Canada was going to fall when there was going to be an electoral massacre, change the fortunes overnight, brings in Cardi, the globalist banker. That was all because of this media control system and taxing these platforms to fund it. And that's, I think, Trump is seeing. He's shutting down their avenues of part of this corrupt scheme.
We saw USAID get hit. Now Act Blue is under the gun. Act Blue is going to really, some pundits are suggesting that USAID was just the warm-up act, and that the main show is going to be when they torpedoed Act Blue. And it's a money laundering operation, and it's going to get hard. And it's going to get hit hard, and it's going to go down.
Well, and I think people need to understand as well, it's the Canadian legacy media companies were being hired as hatchet jobs, doing hit pieces against Trump nonstop in the U.S. Their reporters are on their X feeds blasting Trump. When that was all through Kamala Harris and Trump's campaign, all these Canadian media people were interfering by interjecting their opinions against Trump supporting Kamala Harris. Yet anybody in Canada who says we support Trump, they accused us of all being treasonous, being, it's none of our business, blah, blah, blah. And yet they're the ones trying to do foreign influence in the U.S. So I know they can see that the money that is coming for this has been funding a machine across the border, taking shots to destroy the Trump administration. They were part of it. They were part of the whole Biden, Clinton, Obama,
and we know
deep state group. They got money from that.
We know through the Russiagate situation that foreign powers were used as part of that. Most notably Christopher Steele, but also Australia was involved in that. They used the Five Eyes network that was established to basically undermine Trump through that vehicle, through backroom communications. But this is all well documented, and it's bit by bit it's coming out. Think of it in terms of dominoes. The Russia. Once that collapses, like dominoes, all these other corrupt areas are going to fall, and good tidings are happening.
Well, let's see if Canada will become the new, like the draft dodgers of the late 60s and 70s. If we're going to see a bunch of Texas Democrat representatives hiding out in Canada under some kind of...
and okay, well, let's take that one down from Maine. Let's go to Texas, because Blake mentioned we got some. I don't know whether I'm to be discouraged by it or whether we're to be discouraged by it. This is simply titled Texas, but essentially what's happening, we know that there's all these gerrymandering efforts. These are the redistricting of electoral districts to favor a party. The term is gerrymandering. I don't know where its origin comes from. We don't need sound on this. Simply to make this go large. Okay, Laura Logan writes, no arrests, no seats vacated. Another staggering win for the government and company. Defeat, Texas Democrats block flood relief as special session has expired. No quorum has been established. There's no redistricting, no action, no nothing. But again, I would caution that appearances can be deceiving. Yeah. Are the Republicans being defeated here, Blake, or is this a long game? We got our rod in the wire. Give the little fish some line to go out. Once you feel that tug, start pulling it in a little bit, let it go out, tire it out, and eventually you bring it on board boat, and you got some nice fish.
Well, I think that even the more moderate left, I would say, are saying, listen, I thought we're pro-democracy. If you're going to go and hide and you're going to do this, and you're not going to do your job, which you're hired to do, is to vote. Again, show up and vote against it if you don't like it. But I saw Governor Abbott give a pretty good interview about this, and also allied to Newsom's threat to rejig the seats in California. So if anything,
California, so Republicans are set to lose 5 seats in California, and the Democrats to gain 5 seats there.
If he's saying to counter Texas's moves,
Correct.
Newsom's going to do this. So Abbott says, "Yeah, you do that, then we'll just remove 5 more and rejig it so that it'll become 5 more."
Right, because
California,
to use a very bad expression, has shot their load already. They're done.
Yeah, that's
and
the point.
So Texas has got a lot more because they haven't gerrymandered to the extent that California has done so. So they got a lot more room to play with and a lot more potential damage to the Democrats than the Democrats are able to do.
Well, it's interesting. You hear an admission of corruption. That's the part that I think should frustrate everybody. No politicians, including Abbott, but Abbott's just going, "Yeah, you do that, then we'll have to react to you." But Newsom is showing just how corrupt they are. We'll just do this because we can. That should concern every citizen on all sides of the aisle. You should not want gerrymandering. It should be built on logical, nonpartisan positions based on geography, what makes sense with the cities that are in the same areas, not by, I'm just going to do a little jaunt here. And even sometimes you see little islands that join in with a certain district. They're not connected. There's like an island. It's like they just want that neighborhood to show up in that district that's 10 miles to the east.
Blake, I love our little show because we cover some heavy stuff. There's all sorts of troubles in this world. But every now and then, bread and circuses, and maybe this is more of the circus part than the bread part. This is a story that's been going right now. Apparently, all the male strippers who are now he's calling them strippers, are now in the NFL, enjoy the gay booty dancing. We've got the Minnesota Vikings, Baltimore Ravens, LA Rams, New Orleans Saints, Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, no one's surprised. New England Patriots, Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, should have always been Baltimore Colts, ladies and gentlemen, Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers. So here we've got a situation. These videos have been going viral.
Safe to scroll? No.
Yeah, you can go up. Okay, well,
I don't want to see that. I don't want that burned into my mind.
Hold on. Okay. So anyway, that was Michelle. Somebody put Michelle's head on
Big Mike.
It apparently was a transgender out there. The point is like nobody would have Herdo people and the rest of it, even the church. Nobody gives a rat's ass about this nonsense. But it's done with such an intent to social engineer and to make a point that it gets everybody's back. Everybody's hackles are gotten up, and with good reason. Yeah, it's nonsensical. At the end of the day, there's little Billy out being a gay guy floating around like little Julie. Oh, look, little Dorothy has got Bill up on her shoulders, twirling him around as, he's doing his little thing. Nobody really gives a damn, but it's so stupid. And it's just from the angle of breaking down of the traditional order. Again, everything's about, it's another form or another variant of breaking down statues. So there's John A. McDonald, Canada. There goes Thomas Jefferson in the U.S. Down goes the statue.
Yeah. Washington was a slaveholder, so we got to tear Washington down.
Washington. And so now we got fat lady, black lady statues popping up all over the place with no social or cultural redeeming factor or anything about it at all. Have some more Doritos with that. It's just a fantastic poster, statue. So I don't think it's a thing, but it's just kind of funny. I don't know.
I'm shocked Seattle was not in that list because they're pretty progressive.
Well, just give them time. Give them time. The Seahawks will be there.
But why not just get Will Ferrell? Remember his skit as a cheerleader?
But and there is a long tradition of guys in cheerleading. But the difference now is that these guys are doing the girls' routine, so it's overtly effeminate. It's overtly
They're just not- they're not just
homoerotic. The idea. Oh, I'm so enticed by Brad's tush wiggling for me as his little bosom shakes up front.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what the hell is going on? So do you think it's going to impact viewership, or is America going to give a collective yawn? Nobody gives a shit, on with the game. I'm going to watch anyway.
I think it falls under the category as how many of us actually went to. I've gone to a number of NFL games in person, watched them. I follow the Seahawks. I don't really care about the cheerleaders, quite frankly. I mean, if cheerleaders disappeared, it wouldn't even matter to me. I'm there to watch the game. But I understand it's just a cultural side. It's been part of it. Goes back to high school, having cheerleaders cheering you on. But it's one of those things. I agree. It's probably a mass distraction, but it just shows that a number of these HR departments working for these big corporate NFL chains are so behind the times. The woke world is finished. It's dying. It's lost the war. Now we're just seeing vestiges that's still popping up here and there. And I don't think it's going to last. And quite frankly, it's, as you said, it's a distraction. I think there's a lot of this stuff has been used as mass distraction from what really good. Like, hey, they want you to look at this. They want you to fight about this. Go look behind your back and see what's going on back there, because that's really what's going on. Where they sneak in all these evil, corrupt policies that destroy people's lives. That's a bigger thing. There's some legitimate things on the cultural wars that need to be fought. Again,
bread and circuses, and more the circus end than the bread part with that, right?
Well, I think about children. Children should not be propagandized or forced into medical procedures and things like that because their woke parents want to do something to it, or some group of teachers want to usurp the family and do that. That's a hill worth dying on.
Mm-hmm.
But there is other things, like as I said, if I don't care if they want to put a guy dancing around as a cheerleader. Go for it. I don't care. I don't watch them. But that's being me personally.
I think a lot of people, it's just kind of a big and a lot of heteronormative people don't really give a shit at the end of the day. You're gay. Oh, everybody goes, oh, well, so what? To each their own. Nobody really cares. It's just more the politicization, the more in your face about with an overt message about it. That's what people, I think, have a negative reaction to.
Well, I'm starting to see that in Canada too, right? I'm starting to think that some of the stuff we're experiencing right now, like the ban and the walk in the woods where there's no fire, was that called in by Carney to create a mass distraction in Canada so that we would all start fighting over civil liberties about walking in the woods where there's no fire? Well, they're collapsing on every other front because they were going through a shitty news cycle. Even the legacy media had no choice but to point it out that things were falling apart for Canada, and Canada is in rough shape. But I think it is. It's just there is that
there is precious little good news coming up this way. Okay, speaking of Canada and more bread and circuses, does India raise a Canadian flag on Canada Day? This should be illegal. We should be at war. I wouldn't go so far to say we should be at war with India.
No,
but I wouldn't agree with that. But what I do agree with is the idea that we shouldn't probably be raising these flags, pandering to particular ethnic enclaves. Today, we're raising the national flag of India at Mississauga Celebration Square in recognition of India's 79th Independence Day. Learn more. And there's the flag. And I don't want any comments because they can get racist and nonsensical. I don't want to see them. There's a lovely flag of India. I have no problem with India's flag. It's fine by anybody's metric. But what I do take exception with, we are Canada. I have a Welsh background. I have a native Canadian background. I've got French in there, German. You don't see the same pandering done to those ethnic enclaves the way you do with the Indian population or an extremely large Chinese population. Even though we're beholden to the Chinese Communist Party because so much money is exchanging hands with those guys to our politicians, as CSIS, our CIA, has revealed. But what do you think about the whole idea? I just don't think it should be done. And maybe they should put a law on the books and say, look, we're Canada. We recognize Canada. We're going to do Canada here.
I mean, I don't care if somebody wants to mention it. I mean, that's all part of it. Just say, if they're selling. But here's the irony of that.
Yeah.
Who did India break away from to create a republic? The Crown. Here we are celebrating a breakaway from the Commonwealth. They're part of the Commonwealth, even though they're a republic. Yeah. But they're a republic. They don't have crown lands. They did what the United States did. They broke away. And what's kind of interesting is he's saying, so we're celebrating what Canadians are being told, you can't do this because you're a traitor if you want to break away from the crown. Because that's what Canada is. It's still a crown operated country. It's let's put it this way. The landlord for Canada is His Majesty the King Charles. That is who the landlord is of Canada. So that's who our country is based on. That's all our laws are based on. India is a republic that broke away from the UK. And America is a republic that broke away from the UK. So it's kind of interesting. We're taking a different angle on this, that we're supporting at a very governmental level, even though it's a municipality, about the support and recognizing in a very popular way of saying, or I should say in a positive way, about their anniversary of breaking away. And of course, we know Mahatma Gandhi and all the history that goes with that. But the point is, they're doing this on Canada, where Canada uses the crown as this powerful, corrupt system of kleptocracy. We get to vote in our board of directors every election to run the company known as Canada. And because of that, crown gives them that power. Maybe we should actually be taking that and saying, you know what? We should be doing the same thing. We should be breaking away from the crown. We should have our own revolution in Canada and become a republic. We don't need the crown in Canada anymore. It should be the people's land. It belongs to the people here. And have a revolution like the U.S.
That's
like
it plugs to our beloved First Nations, Blake.
Well, they could support. The Americans was able to do it there.
You're a settler. Okay, now listen. I mean, it's so nonsensical. I know. I got a better one. I got my own thing. What do you got going there? A comedy? All right, we'll do a comedy. And then I wanted one last issue after this. Okay, what?
Hey, what can we say? Peace feels easy on a snow day. Snow is falling down in Alaska town. Trump's on the sled, Putin spinning around, laughing in the cold, side by side, slipping on the ice in a friendly slide. Hey, hey, what can we say?
All right. Yeah, a lot of fun there. Blake, we could go on, this show, but I want to get some lunch in me, but I also want to do one more story with us. Let's go watch the movie Gandhi again. I want to do one more topic and to close out. I think this is a good one. I think it poses a very interesting question for you and me as Canadians vis-a-vis my beloved President, Donald John Trump. I've got the clip. I'm going to do it. Here we go. We go big. And this is Donald Trump with some interesting thing. Canada does what we tell them to do. What? Let's see how he makes out.
Because they respect your country again. They really respect this country again. They didn't respect it. When he said it, it didn't mean anything. But now they know it meant a lot. And Mexico does what we tell them to do. And Canada does what we tell them to do, because we have the two borders. We have the northern border, the southern border, and they were both horrible. But now it's some people say it's a miracle.
All right. So they do. Canada, Mexico do what I tell them to do, what we tell them to do. We use the Royal American we. Thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, you have no choice. If you're going to play, you don't want to play ball. What's the option? If you want to become a narco state of the north or narco state to the south that impacts the U.S., you now have a president that cares about the people of America who are getting impacted by that. So, and being the most powerful economy on earth, something like 15 times larger than Canada. Canada has no choice. It has to play ball. We can't, the shipping is a north south. It always has been historically. It can't be changed.
Yeah.
It's not going to change overnight. And if you want to have a job, you want that 2-car garage house, you want to, have your pensions and all that stuff, you need a strong US, and Trump knows that. That's what I'm saying. It gets back to the asset managers. Canada's pensions, Canada's investments in the US are massive. He's basically got Canada by the balls. He's right on that one.
And I'm not seeing really anything coming out of Carney. All he's saying, Canada, we're going to play by ourselves in our own little room. Like you were using the term Cubanize Canada. It's all inward. We're going to become our own little thing. Trump won't allow that to play out. So we're in between a rock and a hard place with no way out, seemingly no way out for us. It looks like the economic squeeze. And believe me, we have not yet begun to feel the effects of these tariffs. And when
because Kuzma is still in existence. That's the thing. We still have a trade agreement from 2019, but once that expires, all hell breaks loose.
Well, we got problems because the American trade ambassador has already come out saying that Canada has violated that trade agreement and that maybe it's going to be it'll fall apart and it's going to be broken. Canada's already broken it.
Yeah, well, I'm going back to my original position. I think Carney is the secret guy that's there to roll Canada up into a North American Union with the U.S. It's going to happen. That's why he's not doing what he's going to. He could have made a deal on day one and it would have been over, just like a lot of other countries. Even the EU did a deal. So why is he doing and dragging it out? Well, I think because Trump endorsed him. He knows who he is. It's a done deal. The deal for Canada to become part of the United States, not necessarily a state, but in an economic union and security union like the EU, but under U.S. constitutional principles, it's going to happen. We're going to be dragged as a country, kicking and screaming into prosperity.
Well, you and I won't. We'll be diving.
I know, but it's the Laurentian elite are, because they've managed to maintain Canada as a monopoly for over a century. I mean, we've had the battles over free trade back in the late 1800s. The liberals were the political party fighting the conservatives under Macdonald, Laurier against Macdonald, over free trade with the U.S. And it was the liberals that were supporting it and not the conservatives. The conservatives wanted to lock the gates and say, no, tariff, because they were all Hudson's Bay Company monopoly guys back then. They all just changed hats and said, we're going to do this. I just want to cover Down and Out in Nashville. I'm not sure who that is, but he made a point, or she made a point.
It's a guy. It's a gentleman.
About China. It's true. This is the problem in Canada. Canada has had an additional tariff set by China on top of the tariff they already had on canola. And the Laurentian establishment elite in Canada and their media have basically fluffed it off and said, even though it's going to cost Western provinces at least $2 billion in lost revenue from those farmers producing canola, and they don't give a shit in Ontario. That's the point. And yet old Dougie Ford is trying to saber rattle against Trump because he thinks he's more important than the rest of Canada. And I don't know if you saw his speech. He's going on about, 41 million Canadians are standing up against Trump. No, Ford, you're on your own on that one, buddy. You keep your mouth shut about the rest of Canada because you don't speak for me out west. And you suckers have been screwing us over for so long out west. There's been a Wexit movement, probably going to be the biggest ever. Alberta will be the first 51st state if that happens. I don't think Carney is going to let it happen with Trump. Trump's just going to bring Canada into the fold, and then it will cure those problems within the next year.
And once that happens, that economic union, let's project I mean, wherein lies the raison d'etre, to keep our French friends in Quebec happy, the raison d'etre for the existence of Canada anyway at that point, because the Laurentian elite are going to have their financial hold broken. And when that happens, then they're going to lose interest in trying to manipulate and play, oh, we're going to control Canada, because they aren't going to get the reward they had previously with it.
Well, and I think that essentially what we're going to see is, well, they've got mixed assets. They're corporations, and they invest in other corporations. And I think what's happening is they're putting on the big production for the population, the elbows up crowd, while they're quietly moving assets into U.S. investments. That's how you do it. You can't do it, boom, snap of a finger, because it's like dropping a frog into boiling water. It will immediately leap out.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now is it's a slow boil, right? They got to do it over time. They're quietly moving assets. We've been seeing this movement of money now in like well over $1 trillion out of Canada now. It was like $500 billion when Trump first got elected. It's now well over $1 trillion. We got huge asset management funds out of Canada tied to pension funds that are worth like $1 trillion, like the Canada Pension Plan, moving into those assets. So that means that investment is moving out. And I think there's a bit of a dog and pony show Trump and Carney are putting on. Trump knows Carney, right? He works with the big trillionaire asset management companies. He's one of those guys. He knows them. That's why he endorsed them. Poilievre does not have that global connections with the big global bankers and Larry Fink from BlackRock and all those guys.
Yeah, it's almost like Poilievre's got his role to play and he plays it, and that's it. And
he's controlled opposition.
Yeah,
right?
And he's not even playing it that well. He lost his own seat last election. Now they've got to go, and I hear the early voting's already underway for that. For this, nonsensical seat, just to give the guys a face for the Conservative Party, which don't have a hope in hell at doing anything, because they certainly lost me a long time ago. I just see them as inept and irrelevant, and I don't certainly not going to vote for Liberals. All my money's on Trump. We'll see what happens.
Well, and I think there's some of these guys like Doug Ford, and I mean he comes from a very wealthy family historically out of Toronto. There's selfishness. I think they needed time to move their assets and convert it into U.S. assets so that they can back up all their investments in there.
Yeah.
And they're putting on a dog and pony show to keep stringing people along until the announcement is made. And then it will be a deal done by Carney that's going to be great for Canada, for security, economic.
And CBC and CTV and the Legacy will all,
the propagandists will all be out there supporting it.
And support it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it'll be like, oh, it's not a bad deal. I negotiate a really tough deal with Trump.
Yeah.
And hey, the good news is you won't need to cross the border with a passport anymore, because we're going to have a EU style, but yet retain some form of sovereignty. And it will all be bullshit. But the fact is,
that's what they're told anyway. They'll just do what they're told.
Yeah, the government will tell them, give the talking point.
Well, Canada's in receivership. People need to understand Canada is an incorporated company.
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C. Look it up. It is a fact. You just Google search it. Canada Inc. is a corporation in Washington, D.C. So
that's correct.
Just need to look that up.
I've seen that. Blake, I want to thank you, as always, for being here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, as our friend down and out in Nashville said, give us a thumbs up. It helps. We're not really doing anything. I mean, we're, what do you call it? Kind of fractured to hell by YouTube. This thing goes nowhere. But it gives us a chance, those that know about us. It's a small, intimate group. We have some fun, and we get to talk about some issues. And it gets a lot of our chest. Blake and I are both passionate people. We like to talk about what we believe in. And above all, at the end of the day, he's got the whole wide world in his hands. We're both Christians. Amen. So we're ultimately confident in God. God wins in the end. Blake, thanks so much. We're going to catch you on Tuesday. I hope we get you on Tuesday's show, right? Okay.
I'm actually on the road next week.
Oh, okay.
On Vegas, but I'm going to be in a little lakeside town in the southern Okanagan called Osoyoos.
Well, if you get, Osoyoos, beautiful. If you get, some connection there, fingers crossed, maybe we'll get you to pop by.
I'll have my laptop there. I might be chiming in from my laptop.
All right. Love you, Blake. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We really do appreciate the support. And subscribe if you're not. And we'll be back on Tuesday. And Patreon people, again, later today, that's going to be at 4 o'clock Pacific. You can join me. And it's all about the same kind of number of people, about 21 people behind a paywall. $5 a month. It helps support my efforts. Thanks so much, everybody. And bye for now. We'll just do that. By the way, I kept that link up for so long, or this comment up. It was actually 75%, not 70%, 75% Chinese tariff on Canada. All right, everybody. That'll do it for Blake and myself for now. Thank you.